All right, guys, this is Dan French. This is another version of the French Workbench podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to put a little bit of music behind this. We got a full studio here with a bunch of familiar faces, and we're going to talk today about what's going on in the Las Vegas market here with the rankings and where Las Vegas is at for overvalued homes. And as always, you know, we're going to start off and we're going to introduce everybody here. My name is Dan French, and you know, if you guys don't know, we have been doing this podcast for quite some time, and you know, we have a lot of good information that we're putting out. So hopefully, you guys continue subscribing and watching this channel. So first, I'm going to introduce Mr. David Ramirez. He's from Simply Vegas. He's a real estate agent. He's been on here quite a bit. What's going on, David?
Doing pretty well. How you doing, Dan?
Good, man. What's going on? How you been, dude?
Just enjoying the weather, man. I'm excited about the summer coming up. Things opening up June 1st. Vegas is going to open, so super exciting.
Vegas is happening right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then I'm going to introduce Esmeralda Lucia. She's back from WFG Title, and Esmeralda's been here for, you know, a little bit of time now. How are you enjoying coming in here? You enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. I'm glad to be back. Yeah.
I appreciate you coming in. And then we're also going to introduce Sandy Geddes. She's also a real estate agent from Simply Vegas. Sandy, what's happening today? What's going on? You just came from work right?
I did, yeah, from the stadium.
Was there a traffic? What was going on there?
I mean, a
little bit of traffic,
hour, but I mean, it's nice out. Had the windows down, music blasting. It's definitely patio season.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Vegas is right now.
Vegas is right now. So we all know that what's happening right now in Vegas is that these prices are way overvalued, right? It's just, you see a huge increase in these properties. 28% is what we're seeing right now with homes. And what do you guys think? I mean, we're all sitting here looking at this value, these values increasing rapidly. Guess where Las Vegas came in as metropolitan cities for the highest, or what rank they came in for overvalued homes? Anybody have a guess?
Number one.
Number one? Who would have thought,
Shocking.
right?
Right.
We're number one for everything. We're like a roller coaster. Everything goes up, it comes down. We were number one in foreclosures back when we had the crash.
Exactly.
You know, we were number one for pretty much everything, right? I mean, it just seems like we don't go on like just a very, it's a very big swing either direction. So we're number one, 28% overvalued homes, and they just did the statistics on this. What do you guys think? Like, you look at these homes, you're a real estate agent, David. You're also a real estate agent, Sandy. What do you think? I mean, is Vegas happening right now? Because we all know people are now looking at, when they're coming in to buy homes, they're looking at, do I have an additional 15 or 20,000? They're actually budgeting that. They're pulling it from retirement accounts. They're pulling it from other accounts that they got. They got cryptocurrency. They're using that because they know that this market is not going to, they're not going to get into a home with the appraisal contingency being waived. There's a lot of issues. Esmeralda, you see this a lot as well. Like, you talk to a lot of real estate agents, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about this housing market? What's happening with this housing market? Why is this such crazy right now?
You know, everybody wants to move Vegas. Vegas is like the place to be at. You know, you have people coming in from California, from just East Coast. And when you have a demand of a place to live, then prices increase.
Prices are increasing. David, you've been a real estate agent for how long, man?
Going on 16 years now.
16 years. You've seen the ups and downs. You've seen everything happening. Everybody always wants to get tapped into this market, find out what is going on. Why do you think this market is still going up? And do you think with this COVID, seems like everything's starting to open up here. Mask restrictions, we're going to talk about that here shortly, is starting to, it's starting to go away, right? Restaurants, you got full capacity. So what do you think is going to happen? You think this thing's going to start to ease up? I think a lot of people didn't want to list their home because they didn't know what was going to happen. It's uncertainty.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Definitely. I think it's going to be a slow burn. I think we're going to see when the moratorium ends June 30th. That's going to be a big factor. We have the eviction moratorium coming up May 30th, the end of this month. So that's going to be a big factor for landlords, people that have investment properties. We've seen a lot of people, we call them one property investors.
Yeah.
So what they do is they have a primary home and then they try to invest in real estate. So they end up buying one property as an investment. What ends up happening is they end up renting that to family, close friends, family, something like that. And it usually doesn't go in their favor. You know, things kind of go sideways, things happen with that. So those type of investors are usually the first ones to put the property in the market because they're pretty much finished being landlords at that point. They're done with, you know, collecting rent from the people they're having a hard time, especially during the pandemic. So we're going to see a lot of those investors put their property on the market, and that's going to help our inventory.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy because I think you look at the market right now, we talk about investors and everybody's like, well, we're going to wait for the crash to happen. We're going to wait for the correction. Yeah. We've had people talk other people out of not buying homes because they think the correction's coming. What if it doesn't come, right? And if you're an investor, is it a wise thing to invest in this market knowing that if prices continue to go up, I just don't see something that's going to make it where we do have a crash or, these overvalued prices are just all of a sudden just going to go the other direction. I don't know. I mean, rates may have a factor. We talked about that. But Vegas is number one in overvalued homes. And when you have people continue to come, I got guys, calling me all the time from other states saying, we're selling our house. We're making $1 million, $2 million off these homes. Is it going to stop anytime soon? Sandy, are you feeling the same thing on that?
I mean, like I was telling you guys earlier, with my 10-year anniversary of living in Vegas, it's still a hot market. Like, people still want to move here.
Yeah.
My husband and I, we were listening to the sport radio yesterday because that's kind of our...
You're from Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago. But I've been here 10 years. Can you believe that?
That's crazy. Happy anniversary.
Oh, yeah, it is this week. This week is 10 years.
Shots.
So we're
shots.
listening. Yeah, I need it. So we're listening to this radio talk show, and this guy is like from upstate New York, and he's like, oh, we're moving to Vegas. Like,
yeah,
we have friends in Henderson. And I was like, how random, and he's talking about, wanting to move here. And then they start talking about it on the show. I was like, I mean, it must be that popular.
Why did you move to Vegas? I'm curious. What made you say, you know what, Vegas is my destination?
Yeah.
You're a real estate agent?
Why Vegas?
I will tell you the exact moment I knew, because I was kind of living downtown and there's no parking for one. Terrible.
Okay.
But it snowed so bad one year, they called it snowpocalypse or snowmageddon. So we were like, my friend had a Jeep and he was pulling me around on the Jeep, and I'm a big snowboarder. So I was snowboarding off the back of the Jeep downtown Chicago.
Wow.
So basically that's my breaking point. I was like, I'm done with the city. It's too cold. The snow is too crazy. Weather is bipolar,
I guess so. Like, what made it desirable for you to come here, though? Like, did something have like a job offer, or was it the cost of living, or was it's exciting because a lot of people will overpay for homes, and
yeah,
I don't see it stopping. So what makes it desirable for you to move here? What was something that attracted you?
I mean, definitely cost of living.
I think it was just so cold in Chicago. She wanted to come to the hottest city.
I was
115 degrees.
Literally, I needed anything
the
warm.
opposite.
Yeah, and to have weather this perfect, 9 months out of the year is like, I'll take it. But yeah, definitely cost of living.
Yeah,
24-hour town. You can go grocery shopping at any hour. I like that.
We talk about, we have Texas. You talked about Arizona, right? There's other metropolitan areas that are actually overvalued as well as far as homes, desirable, but it just doesn't seem like there's a premium for it.
Isn't Austin really hot right now?
Yeah, Austin's hot.
Yeah.
But why is it Vegas? It's almost like it doesn't matter. Like whatever we need to do at all costs, for the most part, I'm just going to get into Vegas because prices are going to continue to soar. Things are going to continue to get good. And because Vegas has sports teams and they have all these things to offer, it's not going to stop. And I think there's a consumer confidence level here. I can't believe it, though. I was looking it up, number one. So, I mean.
Well, Vegas is, first of all, it's a 24-hour, right? So I think once it opens fully in June, I think it's going to explode. That's just my personal opinion. I think the housing market will not drop. I think it's going to continue. Mm-hmm. And I think our demand will continue. So that's going to drive the market even to a different level. Now, I think there'll be opportunity with what David just talked about with those homes being available because of the restrictions. So I think that there's going to be something to play with as far as options with homes, in my opinion. That's just what I see.
I mean, there's options for homes, but I mean, I guess what makes Vegas more desirable than others, I guess, is what I'm trying to get.
Well, it's fun. There's concerts. There's, you know what I mean? Like we have, in my opinion, we think we have the best restaurants.
Yeah.
With the best pricing, quality food is good here. You have nice ambience.
That's a good point. I mean, you got a lot of restaurants going on, right? And you have a lot of things happening where you see that we're having a lot of movement where people are coming here and enjoying. It's not just the housing. They're enjoying just a lot of different opportunities with restaurants.
Yeah.
Outdoor living, what do you think, David?
I think the number one thing, first of all, I think we're the smallest, largest city in the country. So as far as population, we're one of the smallest compared to, LA, New York, some of these large cities.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have the most opportunity. I think going back, I think that's the key thing is opportunity. So going back with my parents back in the 80s, they came to Vegas because there was opportunity here. Casinos were opening up, ton of jobs, and they came from Texas down to Vegas because there was opportunity. So I think that's the biggest factor where people are relocating to Vegas.
But don't you think there's opportunities other places where, you have a lot of maybe that you can get more bang for your buck, let's say in the Midwest or Texas? Is the cost of living cheaper there? Because it seems like Vegas is now becoming, I hate to say it, like mini California. Everything seems like it's going up. Even though it's still cheaper, it does seem like it's mini California, but everybody's still willing to pay the premium to get here.
I would love to touch on that.
Yeah.
My family is from Chicago, obviously, but the home that they were paying for is like half the home, and the taxes were like close to $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
So when they moved out here, they bought the home. They only paid $100 more, but their taxes are like super low. Like,
So, yeah, they're super low. I mean, that's something that attracts people, right? Is to have really low taxes and have opportunity where.
Well, let me say this. We don't have state tax.
yeah.
I mean, that's key. Like, you don't really, how many states have that? Florida is another
Florida,
one, right? So Florida is another state, but we have that here where the casinos are actually the ones that take over that part, which that's luxury for us. Not
Yeah.
only you can be in different hotels that, like, I don't know how many of you guys have been in Paris and the Venetian, but if you actually travel to those places, they look almost identical.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Vegas. So there's the desirable part of Vegas where there's jobs. You have a lot of opportunity with that. You have a lot of opportunity where you can, maybe get started. Where let's say you have family here. It seemed like everybody that comes to Vegas, to me, they all kind of follow each other. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
like with you guys. Does that happen to you? Like my family, it's weird. We
It
came
happened
out
to
here.
mine.
Yeah, everybody, right? It's
Mine
like,
too.
hey, test the waters.
Yeah.
See if it's okay.
Yeah.
And then you know what?
They'll follow you.
Everybody that does that, they call me or they told our family like, hey, you know what? You can't beat living here, And I don't know. I mean, there's the overvalue of homes and there's cost of living seem like it's going up here. We all know that they're printing money, which is devaluing the dollar. I don't want to go too much on that, but it does play a considering factor in why somebody would move from one state where things are starting to cost more, commodities starting to go up. So now you're looking at, well, where can I go where there's a cheaper mortgage? I got no state tax, right? The cost of living is a little bit less now than what it was. You're experiencing that. So you have family, David, that's moved. You're shaking your head. You have family that's moved here as well?
Right, yeah. Well, they came from Texas back in the 80s when they started out here. But I was actually going to say, back to your point, exactly what you're talking about. They follow each other to Vegas. I have a client that was living in New York, right above Manhattan, view of the city, beautiful views of the city. He was paying almost $4,000 a month in rent for a one-bedroom studio. It was a brand new building. Everything was modern. It was a nice building, but he was in a one-bedroom for $4,000 a month. He came down to Vegas. Now he lives in Henderson, and he absolutely loves it out here.
Yeah.
The open spaces. He has a huge house, I think 3,000 square foot house, 3-bedroom. And what happened was now he's been out here for about a year and a half. His sister, who lives in New York as well, is now in contract for a house in the same subdivision that he lives in. So the family is following down to Vegas. So that's huge. I think a lot of families are doing that.
Do you think it's the homes too are newer? It seemed like they're cheaper though. Like the way that the materials and things that's going on right now, they're a lot more expensive. We had a builder representative last week talk about this, but it seems like the materials that are out there that builders are using, they're not as they're cheaper, but they're not. I don't know. It's like they can maybe afford to build these spacious homes. Maybe there's more room here. Like, is the home the real one of the key factors? Because you look at places like California. Yeah. Some of those homes are just really old. Is it like that in Chicago too?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's even worse.
Right? It's worse, right?
Very old. But
And maybe that's one of the things is they want something new and they don't want something old. They want modern. They want high tech type homes, right? And I mean, is that something that you get a lot from your clients that are moving here? Maybe that's why they're willing to pay overvalue because a lot of these builders are focused on Las Vegas.
Yep. I actually, my clients just went under contract for a new build, and super exciting for them because they're first-time home buyers. But when we went to see the homes, I was a little bit like, okay, will see what the inside looks like. The inside is stunning, like modern, super open. You would never know, you know, for the price they paid and the square footage,
Yeah.
what these builders are able to do. So I was like, good for you guys. I'm so excited for them too, because the list, it was one of those drawings.
Oh.
So they got picked. There were like hundreds of people on there, but they got picked
Yeah.
and super exciting.
Oh,
But
that's nice.
the new builds, seeing it, you know, they have beautiful interiors.
Yes.
Like super modern, big space. Like you wouldn't feel like for the square footage, that's what. So I think a lot of people want that modern look. And
Yeah, it's like you can't compete with it, right?
Yeah.
So you have,
Yeah.
like you said, your representative last week. You can't compete with the new homes because it's all modern. It's all new technology. It's all. I think it's kind of cheaply made, but that's just me.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, to me, but I just think that homes aren't made like they used to be. But you do have all the new
Upgrades.
the upgrades. You got all the smart homes now. Do you see the same thing as far as desirability for the new homes? You know, people want new, just like they want the new car, the new shiny toy. They want the
Right.
new home.
You know, it's kind of like the Apple phone, right? Like you have to have like the latest one.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of what the market is when it comes to homes, and especially like if you have a gathering, then everybody that comes over, if your house looks better than theirs, then now they want to get the new flooring, they want the new paint, they want, you know, the community where you live. So I think that has a big part to it. I
Yeah.
mean, and then right now with everybody basically being at home, all you can do is visit each other.
yeah.
So Vegas being number one, and we have overvalued homes. We're number one for everything, it seems like, in the housing market. Where do you think this is going to go? Do you guys have any idea where you think we'll probably end up heading to when it comes to, you know, I don't know, homes like, let's say in the next 6 months? Do you think it's going to continue down this road? I mean, what do you guys think?
I think it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You think
definitely.
so?
I think values are going
Yeah.
to keep going up.
But just like you said, you know, with the iPhone, you know, I actually just got the new iPhone, but I was I only wanted the button. I didn't want to upgrade.
Yeah.
But I was willing to pay for it because I need it. So,
Yeah.
you know, when people are in need of something, like, you know, they'll pay for, even if it's a little bit more, just like shoes, you know.
Right.
We as women, you know, I'll pay for a little bit more for nicer shoes.
Oh, you guys
things
love
like that.
shoes, man.
I know.
I'm
A
telling
nice
you.
purse, like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay a little bit more if it's nice. So
Yeah.
for a nice home, you know, we're a little bit more.
So this
willing.
market's going to continue to thrive. Is that what I'm getting from everybody? You think this market is going to continue to keep going up? Do you see any signs of it stopping? I think that with the COVID, with people, maybe rates going up, we talked about this numerous times, but to be number one and overvalued in price. And for people, I have clients that come into me now and they're saying, hey, I'm budgeting now for the 5, 10, 15, 20 above. They're actually putting it almost like it's part of their closing costs. And they already know they're getting coached by real estate agents that, you know what, this is norm. Same thing for investors. I mean, do you see the same thing that happening, David? Is that what you're coaching your people on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially once they've run through the mud and seen a couple properties, they start making offers and they just see they're getting outbid every single time. So they have no choice but to write in the contract that they're going to pay 5, 10, 15,000 above appraised value. Because if you're offering, let's say the property is listed at 400,000, if you offer 450,000,
Yeah.
that pretty much means nothing, and because it might not appraise.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to write in the contract that you're going to pay 10,000 above what it's going to appraise, and then write the offer at 450. That way, you're in a stronger position.
What do you see with people you talk to out on the streets? You're hitting this pavement. You're talking to real estate agents. They kind of going through the same thing Esmeralda as far as, you know, prices of homes are going up. Not a lot of inventory, but I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of optimism about this inventory is going to start to come back because people are going to start listing their homes. What do you think?
I think that's the case. I think that we are going to see more homes, and I think that agents are preparing themselves for that, and they're putting themselves in a position to start marketing and being able to market towards those, listings, those
Yeah.
people that are probably willing to sell. But I think the most exciting part about it is that it's like, think of it like a grand opening. I feel like that's what's happening to Vegas, a grand opening June. And I think that there's going to be a lot of positive changes in
Yeah.
many aspects. One, people going back to work,
Yeah.
people coming into Vegas to visit. So I think it's going to change. It's going to change the dynamic in a positive way, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I do
So-
too. I mean, I think Vegas is going to change. So let's talk about what's happening with the mask situation. Let's talk about Vegas as a whole. Vegas has now opened up where they have complete, well, I wouldn't say complete, but they lifted the requirement, but you have to be vaccinated, right? I mean, you can't
Exactly.
just hop into a casino and you know what I mean. Everything's good. I mean, can you as a consumer? I mean, not a consumer. You as somebody walking in, you can't just start gambling, right? You got to. Do you have to show some credentials? Do you guys know anything about what's happening down in the strip? You have a friend down there, right?
Yes, I do. I don't know how they're going to determine who's vaccinated, who's not, but according to what they say is that if you're vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask. So I think that's exciting. I think a lot of people, that's going to be like something that's going to draw in more people to Vegas because not every state has that.
Yeah, but do you think people are going to actually drive to Vegas from California like they used to? Do you think people are going to still come here like they used to? Because I don't know if Vegas has the same aura about it because I think people now are more skeptical. Is it going to recover and get back to the way it was? Or are we just in a position where it's like, you know what? It may not come back. You know?
I think the complete opposite. I think it's going to slingshot because people are just so anxious to kind of get out of the house. And I think the large majority of the population have a good savings now because they've just been working at home, working from home. They've been able to build up a little bit of a nest egg. And now that Vegas is going to open back up, they're just anxious to come back down here. I mean, the nightclubs, the restaurants, we have Resorts World that's opening June. And I think that's going to be huge. I think it's going to be a slingshot effect of just a ton of people in Vegas. It's just going to be.
Yeah,
think-
everybody's cooped
Yeah.
up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's like, I can't take it anymore. I'm out. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, is Vegas going to be the place, though? I guess is what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of things that goes on in Vegas, and I like Vegas. I love being here. But, you know, there's been a lot of things that's been headlined down on the Strip. We also know that, you know, it's a big place. It's got a lot of people, has a lot of tourists, has
Yeah.
more opportunity for you to maybe get, you know, the COVID if it you know gets out there. So I mean, a lot of people you're talking to, Esmeralda, you said that there's somebody down on the Strip that they actually have to get vaccinated, or it's an option, but it's recommended, but it's not something that it's required as employees down there. Is that right?
Right. So they can't make you be vaccinated, but they encourage you to get vaccinated. And in some, I'm not going to say we're resorts, right, or hotels, but some of them you get fined
Yeah.
until you
Cosmo.
get vaccinated.
really?
Cosmo's giving out incentives to get vaccinated because I work there still on the weekend. I'll tell you, it has been
Dude, is
busy.
Cosmo slamming?
The most busy. Like, I honestly on the weekends I've never been busier. So people are coming in, no masks, no, you know.
They don't stop them at the door and say, "Hey, wait a second." They're just like,
No,
everybody's just like, "Hey, I'm done."
They're coming
Well, that's
in.
what I'm trying to tell you guys.
People are spending money, you know, more than the past few years.
So I'm curious, what type of incentives are they giving the employees to get vaccinated?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I
Is
can
it-
quote like, but I just see, you know, they post post the flyers of you'll get a bonus check if you do get vaccinated because they want all their employees to be vaccinated so that way
right, safe.
they can be safe and they can all, you know, move in that direction of not having masks,
Yeah.
but without having to tell them, you know, you forcing them to get
Right.
the vaccine.
Right.
So
That was the word we encourage.
yeah, exactly.
We encourage, you know,
Yeah.
our employees from different.
Yeah.
know,
and
hotels,
it's
yeah.
understandable because you do come in contact with so many people, especially right now. Like even my husband's law enforcement, he had to get called down to the Strip to like, you know, kind of be a force down there because there are so many tourists in town. Like not sure if it's
getting packed, huh?
But Memorial Day weekend's always really big in Vegas, so I'm curious, you know, what that's gonna look like. with
I think it's
people
going to
coming.
be a frenzy because I think there's a lot of
A
people that,
frenzy's
yeah,
the
I
word. Yeah.
really think so. I think everybody's just going to go crazy. I mean,
They have.
I won't go down to the Strip. I don't know if you
Well,
guys
no.
do, but
No.
do you guys have family that looks at the Strip now that it's opening up? I know there's a lot of people from Hawaii, a lot of people from California that it's real close, or it's not close to Hawaii, but it's still like the ninth island, as they say, right? They all, you know, a lot of people come here, they vacation here. And do you see that that's going to, you know, the population of people, is it just going to keep increasing, I guess is what I'm saying? Or is it going to be, well, you know, it's going to be like a feeling out stage? Because I don't know. I mean, to me, Vegas is desirable, but is it something where people, you know, really want to go and start to visit this soon? Does that make sense? Like,
Right.
it's kind of fresh.
I think we're gonna hit over 3 million population again, because in 2006 we were well over 3 million, 3.2 million population, and then when things crashed, we went all the way down below 2 million, and now we're starting to tip back up at 2.7 million, the population right now in Vegas. So I think we're headed back in that direction where everybody's going to relocate here, and you're seeing the exact opposite in California and New York, where the populations are decreasing and they're moving into the inner cities, Vegas, Texas, and things like that.
Do you guys have family that wants to come here? Like, you got family that you said family from Texas, David, Chicago. Where did you say your family was from, Esmeralda?
Most of my family was from California. And,
Okay.
and yeah, more than half live here now in Las Vegas.
I'm telling you, it's like everybody grabs, somebody and says, come down here. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. It's just, it's great, man. It's great. So all my family, one by one, actually moved down here. My uncle started here, then I moved here, then
where
my
you,
other
where
uncle.
did you, yeah, where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from Rancho Cucamonga. And
okay,
I went
California.
to Chaffee College there. I went to Chaffee, and I also graduated from Colton High School. It's
Okay.
over there. It's in that area. Not the best of area, but it's still, I got my degree and I got my stuff going. So I'm happy, but I moved here because opportunity, right?
Right.
You look at California, and California is overpopulated. And I remember I was driving, and I was like, I was going dirt bike riding one day. It was like on a Friday. It's like, I'm going to beat the crowd. So I think it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I hit traffic, and I'm like, well, it's 9 o'clock, right? Then I'm coming home. I think it was like 12:30 in the afternoon or 1 o'clock. It was like a short day. Still hit traffic. And it's like, you can't get away from it. And so I think for me, I looked at it and I said, you know what? There's not a lot of there's opportunity, but man, Vegas is growing. And you know what? Vegas has every job you want out there. Plus, when you get out here, everything's new, right? You look at California. I'm not saying California is bad, but it's like a new exploring position to be in, right? You're exploring a new place. And I think a lot of people look at that. They look at the fact that the cost of living is better. So, I mean, is that what brought you here, David?
Well, I was born and raised here in Las Vegas, but actually I was going to go back to the point
Yeah.
of people relocating from Chicago. That's actually what started Vegas.
Oh, you were born here. I thought you said you were from, or was that your family?
My family came from Texas.
Oh, I thought you came from Texas
No,
too.
my parents, they came from Texas
Oh,
to
I see.
Vegas, and then we were born here, me and my brother.
Okay. I didn't know you were born here. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
born and raised, so native of Vegas. But I just think that's kind of funny that people from Chicago relocating. They kind of started in New York, kind of bounced to Chicago, and then all the people from Chicago bounced to Vegas, and they're actually the ones that created Vegas. They started the hotels and the casinos and all that. So that's actually the history behind Vegas.
The mob.
Is the mob. Yeah, if you go to
Yeah,
the mob
the
museum,
mob.
The mob
all the
museum's so
Italians
fun,
came
yeah.
over and they actually started the Stardust, the Maxim, all these old hotels. And that was just a huge boom back in the 60s and 70s that actually created Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to look at Vegas. I think Vegas had this aura about it where it was, you had a lot of, let's just say things went where it was a lot of hospitality. I think the mob gave that. And I think a lot of people know that. But I think Vegas obviously has turned over to more of a you would say like a corporate style,
Oh, definitely.
strip. Everything's corporate. There's nothing that's free. We're back to parking, and it's going to cost you money, right? The MGM's starting to,
Yeah.
MGM's starting to do it. They're doing it, and you know what? I think it's 3 hours, and you got to start paying money again.
Oh, so they're putting a time frame.
Yeah, I think, and so you go back when I first came here, there was nothing like that. You know
yeah.
that, David. You were here. We didn't have to pay for anything. I would literally park anywhere, and I would walk anywhere I wanted to go. But now it's like, how can we make more money? And I think Vegas is turning into that. What I think is, we're talking about the homes and being overvalued. I think there's desire there because it's new.
Yeah.
But it is turning into the cost of living here will start to it's going to increase. And
It's increasing now. I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys noticed. I have
Gas.
noticed it has increased in just buying different things. Like I went to Walmart. I was like, wait a minute. I used to buy the same thing and it was like $20. Now I'm paying like $34.
dude, Walmart has all those checkout stands too that are all automated now,
Yeah,
right?
They do.
Isn't it crazy? Like I feel that, everything's kind of turning at this point. Like everything's kind of,
And they're sensitive too. Beep. Like if you don't do it right, it'll beep you and you have to come back. And you start scanning it again.
so this whole mask thing, let's go back to that. So you guys, what do you think? So the impact you think is going to be vast. David, you think it's going to be crazy. You think it's going to be big, right?
Yes, I do.
Explain to me why you think Vegas though is going to thrive. Like why Vegas is Vegas. We know it's entertainment. Obviously there's a lot to do here, but what's going to make people or drive people this soon? I guess is what I'm looking for. Like, why are people going to want to come here and start putting themselves in that position? Maybe it's because they're cooped up. I don't know, but what do you think?
I think it goes back to following the science behind, especially with the pandemic, with the masks, talking about, the masks, they're going to be, if you're vaccinated, you no longer have to wear the mask. And the CDC just announced that I think the most important thing is the death toll is now below 87%. So that's the most important factor there, is the amount of people that are dying from COVID is down almost 90%. So that's the most important thing. Once the science comes in that those numbers are in, people are vaccinated, over 70% of the country is going to get vaccinated. Once that happens, we're just going to go back into a normal lifestyle, basically.
What about Sisolak? Did Sisolak come out and say that the people that come here have to show that they've been vaccinated, or is it an option? You just either you don't or you just wear a mask. You know what I mean? Like, so if I want to go to a casino and I can't prove that I've been vaccinated, do I still have to wear a mask? Is that what you're seeing, or people just don't care over here? I don't care. I'm just going to walk in. They don't care.
I think they're calling it the good faith system. You're just going based off good faith.
What do you see down? I mean, people do they even bring it up at all? Like, as far as
at the stadium all day, people are asking me if they have to wear a mask. So actually, I feel like a lot of people do come in wearing their mask still, but maybe they're not aware of the current, situation if you are fully vaccinated. So they ask me, they're like, do I have to wear a mask? And I'm not at liberty to say, like, yes, you do, but
Yeah.
I tell them if you're fully vaccinated, currently you don't have to wear a mask.
So what is the policy for the Cosmopolitan? Are they saying it's totally up to the customer?
Yeah.
Whether they want to wear it or not?
If they're fully vaccinated, they don't have to wear a mask, but who are we to ask for any sort of proof?
Yeah, but I think it makes some people uncomfortable. I'm not trying to be the stickler over here, but it does make people uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this, since you work there. So what about the employees? Like, what if you're like an employee that doesn't feel comfortable? Can you wear your mask?
Oh, we all have to wear the masks.
Oh, okay. So you still have to wear the mask even if you're fully vaccinated?
Yeah. At Cosmo and the stadium, we all.
Oh, so you have to wear a
wear
mask still?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they were just like, you know what, you work here.
Me too. I was thinking the same
You're
thing.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they are moving in that direction soon.
But it's
hopefully,
okay. Well, that makes a difference.
Hopefully,
right?
Supposedly we're going pre-pandemic soon, so.
So I think right now it's up to the owner, the business owner. So the casinos, even down to the small bars, the small businesses.
Yeah, but
it comes down to the owner whether or not the employees and the customers have to wear the mask. Because at this point, the CDC announced federally for the entire country that if you're vaccinated and you say you're vaccinated, then you no longer have to wear the mask. So it's the private business owner. If you enter into their business, then it's their rules versus the CDC rules.
But have you guys gone into somewhere where you aren't sure, but like we went into a restaurant yesterday, me and my husband, and I was like, do I put it on? Do I take it off?
What restaurant did you go to?
Just a pizza place right by our house. And I was like, should we wear the mask in, or like all like naughty? Should we not wear it? I was like, oh, I feel bad. I'm going to take my mask off.
Yeah.
But they did ask people coming in. We noticed because we had our mask on, and then people coming in, they were like, oh, you still need to wear your mask, you can take it off when you're eating. So I think that was kind of per the business owner, that was their decision. They want, people to still wear it for now, and then obviously eating and drinking, you can take it off. But
so you have family in Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do they are they going through the same process where it's populated there, but I mean, are they going through where the same restrictions? Like, I don't know anything about what's going on with Chicago, but is your family kind of going through similar things that we're going through here?
I think so. My sister's in healthcare, and I haven't heard anything from her that they're lifting mask mandates. So I think she's still going to continue to wear it, although she is fully vaccinated. So we'll see, and like you're saying, it's a federally thing that it's a lift. Mm-hmm. You can not wear the mask if you are fully vaccinated, but that's such a, tiptoe, do you ask someone if they are fully vaccinated?
Right.
How do you
I think that's a sensitive subject. It's almost like
it's sensitive.
It's almost like coming up and asking you, like, what's your DNA? You're not going to be like, yo, this is so I don't know, you're not going to give your
like
secret.
Those HIPAA laws that protect your health information. You're not, you don't have to disclose anything.
Yeah.
But as a business owner, like, it makes sense why people are like, oh, the employees still have to wear masks to be protecting others, but they can't ask us if we're vaccinated or not. Although we do have to fill out the health forms. There's like screenings that we have to fill out before coming in.
Really?
That basically ask if you've been vaccinated, been in contact, like simple things like if you have any symptoms, So that's pretty much what I've experienced, like standard going
Yeah.
everywhere. Like even the stadium, you have to do a health screening before you go in.
I think too, it's like asking somebody's medical history, right? Nobody's going to say that about
Yeah,
if you've been
Yeah.
vaccinated. Like nobody's going to bring that up. But
And even still, like, how do you prove, like, if you haven't been vaccinated, but you don't want to wear the mask, you're over the mask, like,
Yeah.
how do you prove that? You know, it's a
Yeah.
sensitive area, so.
I mean, so you go into work, so kind of paint that picture. You go into work, they encourage you to be vaccinated, but they don't necessarily say, hey, present that you have been vaccinated. They don't say anything like that. They're just like, if everybody wears a mask, but is some people like encouraging, or maybe they're trying to say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to let you know that I've been vaccinated because it maybe puts the management or that company at ease. Are people doing that, or is it just pretty much hush hush that you're seeing?
No, people come in and they're like, I got my card. And they're all like, I don't have to wear my mask. So they're like excited about it. And I feel like even those in the groups that are like a little bit more susceptible to getting COVID,
Yeah.
they're the ones that are like, see my card,
Yeah.
like pulling it out, like have it in their wallet ready to go. And I'm like, good for you. Congratulations. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm happy that you took that step. But
Do they still
They
wear the
don't have
mask
to
if they
just
do that?
no, and that's why they're like totally
They're
like
done with it?
Yeah, they're just like, I got my card, I'm good to go. Like, you know, nothing.
Do you have anybody, David, that is in the hospitality business where, you know, I don't know if it's restaurant or if it's hospital or something where you're dealing with the public?
Yeah, I have a buddy that works in the casino industry. Basically, he's kind of like a host. Right now, he's hosting a comedy show, live stand-up comedy. So he's getting
Yeah.
a lot of people in there. From my personal experience, I've kind of been going out a little bit more. I went to a comedy show actually on the Strip, and it was pretty cool. Everybody inside the casino, inside the actual comedy club, nobody was wearing a mask inside there. Once you go out to the hallways, you see it's kind of 50-50. You
Yeah.
see half people wearing it, half not wearing it. But as far as local restaurants, there's some small businesses that they're demanding you wear the mask right when you walk in. All the employees are wearing the mask. And then I went to another restaurant, and not one person was wearing the mask, not even the employees.
Really?
Yeah, all the employees, no mask, management, nobody had a mask on.
In the same
The entire
in
restaurant.
the same like hotel casino.
No, it was
or-
a local restaurant here in
Oh,
Henderson.
just in a different place. Okay.
Yeah, here in Henderson, a local restaurant, and not even the employees were wearing a mask.
Wow.
So I've seen like 50-50.
Wow. What about you, Esmeralda?
You know, I've had where like I have clients and family. They were doing the same thing you were. Like they were sending me pictures of them getting the shot, and they're
Yeah.
excited. So I think that brings peace to a lot of people, and that's where my conversations have been. And I've seen that people have eased a little bit when it comes to that. So that's kind of what I've been seeing within family. Like even one of my sisters got vaccinated actually yesterday.
Yeah.
She works in a hotel, in a casino.
What
in a restaurant.
vaccination did she get? Sorry to interrupt you. What did she get?
You know what? I didn't even ask her because I was like, "Hey, how do you feel?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "I feel fine." You know, we went walking today. I was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Yeah, I got vaccinated." I was like, "Oh, okay." That's good.
My girl got vaccinated too, and she didn't feel good. Like, it's not that you're like, you can't move or but
Yeah.
it's just, you're kind of like, you know what I mean? I just probably just hang out at home, let
Yeah.
these symptoms pass.
Yeah.
But she had the 2 shots, and I think that's what the Pfizer.
The
Is that-
Pfizer?
yeah, is
Pfizer.
that the
I don't
Pfizer?
know. I don't know if she got the Pfizer or the Johnson and Johnson, to be honest.
Okay.
Because she said she just got her first. Like she literally just got her first. So I guess I should ask her when I get home. Hey, girl. So is this your first
Yeah,
or your
she's
second or which one is it? But she said she felt fine.
She said
was
she felt fine?
Yeah, she said she felt fine, and you know it was something that they encouraged her to do at work. You know, she's a server for a French restaurant that's like a high end, and so she was like, "Yeah, I just."
Would you frown on somebody, and everybody's different, but would you frown on somebody that, let's say you're getting served by them, or you're in the hospitality business, and they're not wearing a mask, but you don't know if they've been vaccinated or not. They're not passing that, that badge, like, hey, I got, I'm here. What do you? I mean, would you feel weird by it, or are you gonna be okay? Like, you're gonna be like, you know what, it is what it is, and I'm just happy to be out and doing my thing.
I wouldn't frown on it because I think that everybody has a different experience, and when it comes to something like that, you might have had somebody that died, and you were probably that person with the gloves and the mask and everything, and that still happened. Or you might be somebody that doesn't even know anybody, and nothing happened, and you're fine. You didn't even get sick, so you can't really blame anybody for the way they feel because that's their opinion. And and there's no way of proving it. Somebody can tell you they got vaccinated, and what if
Yeah.
they're not?
Would you feel the same way, David? Like if somebody's serving you, or let's say you're getting helped. I don't know about a hospital, because obviously if you're there, you're getting help because you need it. But let's say you're in some type of industry, you're at a bar, or you're at a casino, or you're at the pool, right? You're somewhere where people are hanging out and they're getting tans or whatever. Are you going to be somebody that's like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable with this. Or you'd be like, you know what? Let's just let it ride.
At this point, I wouldn't have an issue at all, because I would just listen to the science and find out what percentage of people are still being hospitalized and what is the death rate. So if the death rate is almost 90%, then at that point, we see that we're passing the pandemic. And they also said that out in the sunlight outdoors, that was the first time when they said you couldn't wear the mask outdoors in the sunlight, because the percentage of getting it is so low that it wouldn't affect many people at all. So I would just continue to listen to that and find out what the statistics are. If they go up, then at that point you can take precautions. But right now, we're just seeing everything go back to normal.
Yeah, it's weird because it affects the people different. I do a recreational basketball on Sundays, and I do indoor soccer on Wednesdays. And I know friends and people that were on my team that had it, and they're okay. I mean now, but the breathing and the lungs aren't there, and I think that's so. I guess you have to experience something where it affects you before you're like, hey, I'm really going to be cautious about it. I think the majority of everybody, though, understands that, you can't live your life in a shell, I guess, right? I mean, you got to be cautious. You got to take the right necessary steps, but maybe wearing a mask. But you see, we had 40 million people roughly before pre-COVID coming to Vegas. Do you see that those numbers are still kind of, I would say they're starting to peak to that level again? I mean, because you see, you're over at it's a Cosmo.
Yeah, at the Cosmo.
Is that place? I mean, that's one of the best places to go, though. I mean, is that place popping?
When I walk into the casino, it is insane. But I will say this: I will miss the mask, because dealing with drunk people, they tend to spit when they talk.
Right.
So no, this is a true story, and it's horrible because I used to, it's loud in the casino, it's loud in those kind of places. So you kind of lean in to hear people talk, and then they spit, and it's all over your face. So literally this happened to me a couple nights ago, and I'm trying to talk to this guy, hear what he's saying, and I feel just like a spray, and I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for that again.
Is he drunk or something? He doesn't know he spit? Because I would be very, I would feel weird. If I would just be like, did I just do that?
Yeah, I think when people, obviously they don't realize, or maybe they do, I don't know. But
they had too much.
He had been drinking.
It's because the music's loud too, right? And they're trying to say, hey, I want some. What is it, bottle service or something? Or what is it? Is it, so you bring bottles and stuff, and it's people are trying to yell at you hey, I need this and I need this. And it's
that is exactly it.
I think I would wear one of those plastic masks.
A face shield.
The face shield.
I'd almost be down to do that from here on out, because I kind of like it. I'm protected. It's I don't know.
I'd look like a stormtrooper coming into work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely need protection when people are trying to talk to you.
We look at this Vegas situation. We see it's really starting to open up. I think everybody's starting. What do you think is going to happen with the whole impact? We're going to go back and talk about the housing market, some of the challenges, some of the things you guys are dealing with, because we do real estate, we do financing. So when you look at Vegas, I feel that Vegas is going to come back. I feel that it's going to slowly come back. But are people going to be able to afford these overvalued homes? And when is it going to be a point where we start to see inventory open up? Because I think the big question is, when is this going to happen where people are going to start to say, I'm going to sell my house? I've had numerous discussions about this. We have past shows about this. But you look at us as number one. When do you see this stopping? Do you see it changing, David?
I think it's going to be a slow burn. It's going to take a long time because June 30th, the moratorium ends. And then from there, we're going to see properties, like I said, investors and things like that come on the market. And I think it's going to take 12 to 24 months before we start to see some of these properties hit the market. So it's going to be as gradual, the inventory coming on board, and that's going to be healthy for the market because we need more inventory right now. And I think what it's going to do is slow down the growth. So right now we're shooting at 10, 20% increase month over month. So what we're going to see is maybe 3 to 5% increase month over month rather than 10 to 20%. And that's going to be a healthy market.
Yeah, I think too, Vegas is obviously increasing crazy amount, right? It's just on another level. So when you look at this and you look at where we're headed, we're at 28%, right? Overvalued. Do you think we'll hit 50%? What do you think, Esmeralda?
I think we can. I think
You do?
I do.
50%?
I think so.
50%.
I
That's
think
a
so.
huge number.
Well, the reason I say that, not like in a consistency. I just think that it'll hit it at some point. Not like where we'll stay at 50.
You don't think we're going to have some type of correction or crash or something before that happens?
I think we will, but I think that I think what happened in the last, situation it took place. I don't think they're not going to allow that to happen. In my opinion, I think that I think what they're doing is they're trying to stagnate that from happening.
Yeah.
So I think it's not gonna happen the same way. They're gonna change that. I think either it's gonna correct itself by.
If you say, look at it right now, we're at 30% increase. What you're saying is that we may hit 50, and I'm just curious. So that means we would have to have double the amount of overvalued homes going on right now. That means the same home that we're buying now is going to be.
I think homes have already doubled, though.
Have they, David? You think?
I think some homes have doubled. Yes, they have. If you bought your home in let's say 12 years ago, your home has doubled.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you? You think
sorry,
it's doubled?
it
No,
has.
yeah, I was gonna say, I honestly don't think demand is gonna decrease or slow down in Vegas, but I think more people are going to start realizing that they can get double the equity for selling their home. So I was gonna say, my husband, he bought his home 12 years ago. We're looking and seeing that his equity is pretty much doubled. So at night, I'll see the phone light lit up in when we're sleeping. He's on Zillow looking at home prices. And I'm like, what are you looking for? You want to buy a new home? He's like, yeah, if we sell our home right now.
See that, but
Yeah.
look at it. So the market's overvalued. You got not a lot of inventory, but yet your husband's still looking on there because you know what?
Every day.
Is it a thing of he's it's like this. I want to have a piece of it because he obviously has consumer confidence or confidence in this market that
Right.
the homes are going to continue to go up. If you're on there looking at Zillow and you're on there looking at things and saying, well, are these going up? Obviously there's some desire somewhere that if people thought there was going to be a crash or a correction, I hear more stories about people saying that they're looking for opportunity than
Definitely.
waiting for the opportunity to take place. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
It goes back to the old saying, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Oh, I love that saying. Yeah.
So,
But that's what I'm saying about the double. So let me rephrase that on, I think your equity will increase to 50% because if you held on to your property, just like I said, 12 years ago, you definitely doubled. If you know numbers and statistics, which I do that all day, I pull data all day so I could see the numbers. So I know that people have doubled.
Yeah, but if people buy today, are they confident that it'll double again?
See, I
think
don't know
that's-
about today,
That's like doubling
but-
down, right? Okay, we're already at levels we've never seen. I buy again. Do I have the confidence that the same gains are going to be there? Or are people okay with 5% gains, not 28%? I mean,
I think on average, properties double within 10 to 15 years. So if you're buying today and you're going for the long haul investment, in 10 to 15 years, your property is going to be at least 30 to 50% in that range. So if it doesn't double, you're still going to have a huge amount of equity. And that's the cycle we see in real estate all the time. Whether we have a crash or recession, 10 to 15 years, values always go up and down, but over the long haul, they always go up.
so I'm going to start with you, David, because you are pretty keen on the market. I think you've had investment properties. If I was a person that's coming from another state, and let's say I have money, and I got somebody in my ear saying, don't buy, you know what I mean? Don't buy because we're going to have a correction or a crash. What's your advice to them?
It really depends. I think it's case by case. It really depends on the investor, what they're looking for, because I have a client going back to that right now that's looking for an investment property. And what they're doing is they want a property that's going to be a primary in 3 years. So right now they want to buy the property, put a renter in there for 2 to 3 years. So it's going to be an investment at first. And then in 3 years, they want to move into it as their primary. So they're actually kind of on the fence of not 100% investment where it's like a condo in an area that they don't want.
Sure.
They want a nice house where they're actually going to live in, but that's also a great deal as an investment. So we're seeing a lot of that.
Primary residence, if you need a primary residence, I think that's an easier sell. Let's say if you're somebody that's like, hey, I got money and I have options, but I want to relocate. Can you convince somebody that says, you know what, relocating here, you're going to see gains in your house. You should have consumer confidence. You should be able to understand that this market's going to continue to accelerate. Or would you be somebody that looks at it and goes, well, I had somebody tell me that this market's done. It's going to go for a correction. We're crashing soon. I think that's a big thing because you're trying to convince people that you're in a market that's still going to be good. You're in a market that is going to continue to appreciate. And I think it's a real, hey, what do I do? I don't know. Nobody has the crystal ball, but what do I do? And I think that's the big question, right?
So for the primary, there's different values. So when you're buying a primary house, there's the value of the investment of the property, right? You want a good deal, you want a good investment. But the other half of the value is also your family. Where are your kids going to go to school?
Yes.
Where do you want to live? Are you going to be close to work? Because you go to work every day, that makes you money. So that's an asset. That's an actual thing that you want to look for. So when you buy a primary, there's actually half the value in what you're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Your family, your wife, your kids.
Yeah.
You know, where they're going to go and things like that. So those things you have to take into account because that's also part of the asset that you're buying, that you're investing in.
Okay, Esmeralda, I'm going to ask you the same question. Convince me why if you had somebody that came to you and said, you know what, Esmeralda, I can live anywhere. Vegas is hot. It's #1 in overvalued homes, right? Why would I want to move to Las Vegas? Like, is it a good investment? Do you think that the value is going to continue, or do you think we're just kind of in a bad place?
I think, like I said earlier, I think that it will continue to grow. I think that homes are going to continue to grow in value. I'll tell you a little quick story. So I had someone that bought a second home, right? And they were we'll just say they were older, senior.
Yep.
And they ended up buying the second home and they ended up using their 401k. And I was really scared for them because I was like, oh, I don't know. Because, you know, you guys are at this, like, I don't know if that's going to work out. They took the chance and they bought the home and they sold the home and they paid off their house.
Yeah, but does that happen? Like, here's the thing. It's one of those things like this. I always look at it as if a door opens or an opportunity. I talked to somebody one time. This guy made a lot of money. He was somebody that started a business, and he said, I go, what made you do this? Like, I think he had a clothing store or something and went crazy, and then he started doing currency exchanging currency, making money off that. He goes, every time a door closed or every time one opened, I always step through that door. And it's because you don't know. Even if it's a bad decision, you don't know. So I think it's like this. Nobody's going to be able to tell you, like, now's the time to buy your home. It's perfect time. And then somebody can come out and say, you know what? This market's going to crash. I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides. I mean, you think the same. What if somebody came to you, Sandy, and said the same thing? What if they said, hey, Sandy, why should I move to Las Vegas?
I mean, just like you said, it's kind of up to the person. But, you know, we just reached out to you as well about refinancing. You know, it could be the situation that people are in. If they want to buy a home right now, then maybe refinance it a little bit later. It's still a good opportunity. I think if you're moving because you need to get away from something, Vegas is a great place. There's so much to do here. We kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, like outside, there's a lot of outdoor activities here.
Sure.
You know, I actually just met all of my neighbors because they were all having a block party outside. So
that's nice.
Dude, that's cool.
So nice. And it was cool to meet them because they were just like having a gathering because of COVID. You know, we couldn't really do anything. So they all came out. We were hanging out in the cul-de-sac. And it was a cool thing. So I feel like if people are looking for somewhere, why to move here, a lot of opportunity, a lot of things are, you know, happening in Vegas.
Going back to that point of refinancing, I had a discussion with my client, and we're going over options because he's in the moratorium right now. He's part of the statistics that is in the moratorium. He hasn't paid the mortgage in over a year and a half. Yeah. I sold him his house about 6-7 years ago, so he has a ton of equity. He hasn't paid the mortgage in a year and a half, and he's over 62 or something like that. So we actually went over the option of a reverse mortgage. I said that might be a good option for him.
Yeah.
Use all the equity you have in the property, get a reverse mortgage, and now the equity's paying you every month instead of having to be forced to sell the property because he's still unemployed, still can't get back to work, and more than likely he's going to end up retiring possibly. So a reverse mortgage would be a really good option for him.
What's the percentage of people, though, that are not out of state? And maybe you don't know this, but let's just ballpark it, that are actually people that are buying here, that live here. Let's say you moved here and you were renting. You didn't know if you wanted to stay here. A lot of people do that. Yeah. The median price or the median wage earner, right? The average wage earner out there, can they actually afford a home? You know, we got running altitude brought up a point. Mm-hmm. Can people here in Vegas actually sustain a mortgage payment on a starting point for a home? 382, right? That's what we talked about, 382,000. Can an average Las Vegan let's just say this. You got to have two people for the most part now where they got two incomes. But can one income sustain that today? You have to be making a pretty good amount of money per month on a $382,000 home. Let's say you do need a mortgage. What would you actually get for that? Well, your mortgage payment on that probably would run you, let's just say it's about $2,500 a month. That means you would have to make a minimum of $5,000 to $6,000 with no other debt. Can you live off that? Is that what you're seeing? Are you seeing a lot of Las Vegans having issues not making enough money and they're just sitting on the sidelines?
Yeah, I think so. I think what's happening is the locals, the Las Vegas locals you talk about with the minimum wage earners, they're getting pushed into, some of the lower housing. So they're going into the 200,000 range.
Yeah.
Even the high 100,000 range, condos, townhomes in these different areas.
And that is a struggle.
Yeah. So I think it comes down to how much reserves they have. So they're only going to be qualified based on their income, the price that they can purchase. But if they have a little nest egg, let's say 10, 20,000 saved up, they can use that as a larger down payment. And that's going to help their DTI, their debt to income ratios, where they can afford that property now because they had that little nest egg to work with.
What about you, Esmeralda? I mean, are you seeing people? You got people down on the strip that are working. You got a couple big wigs down there that are making it happen, and they run the show. Obviously, those people probably can afford that. But let's say you're somebody down there that's, maybe you're a server. I don't know. I mean, do you do pretty well as far as the service that you provide? I mean, do they?
I provide a good service. No, I was going to touch on that too, because I do have a lot of friends that I work with that are interested in buying a home, and they actually were asking me about rentals, but there are no rentals right now. It's super hard to get a rental. So I'm trying to tell them and encourage them, like, look, it's possible to buy a home. You don't have to have a 20% down payment. You can, put 3% down and, work on your credit. There are things that you can do. There's Home is Possible, certain things,
I think the biggest thing is coaching, right? Coaching the people. They have to understand what they need in place. Like for you guys earn a lot of tips, right? So tip earners, they have to understand how to file their taxes.
For taxes,
So if you file your taxes the correct way, then you can qualify for a larger amount.
Yep.
And you also have NACA is another great resource for people that probably don't have down payments.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you got to figure out alternate solutions to this. But I'm just saying that we're going to wrap the show up. But I just want to say this last thing is the pace that these homes are going up. Is it going to continue to be a bigger separation when it comes to the average wage earner? Even if you're a two-income family, there might be a point where if it keeps accelerating as fast as it's going right now, are they going to be priced out? I'm talking about people here. See, when you got money, you can come in, and David has a lot of clients. You have a lot of clients. They put down large down payments, right? And they carry maybe a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 loan. That's not a crazy mortgage. But let's say if you have 5% down, and let's say you're in a market, and to buy a decent home, it's $450, $500 by the time they get into it. What's out there? You know what I mean? And I think that's something to look at. That's something. It's a little bit. It's glaring to me. Maybe we will have a correction, or maybe there will be people start opening up and things will start to slow down because there's more inventory. But that is something that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think the builders are starting to take notice of that as well. They're seeing the locals, the local market kind of get priced out. A lot of California people are starting to buy those properties. So there are a few builders out there, Harmony Homes, a couple of those builders that are building in the high 200s, low 300s. Yeah. They're in like the Northeast and those parts of town. So those builders are understanding that this is the local market that they need to be in, and they're actually building a few new homes for that market.
What's the lowest new home you can buy? Like, where is that? It always says from the low 300s or from the high whatever. What is the starting point? What's the lowest home? If I wanted to buy a new home today, where do I get started if I have, if I'm trying to, go the I wouldn't say the cheapest way out, but the starting point for the lowest cost?
So I took a client out to the Northeast, and we went to Beezer Homes, and they had a subdivision there, and the base price for the lowest price point home, it was $289. So that's the base price.
Well, that's good.
That's not bad.
That's decent,
that's good.
Yeah. And then you go, you throw in the upgrades, the lot premium, you're going to be in the low 300s. Mm-hmm. But a lot of those people, they're probably going to do the bare minimum just to get into the property. So that's a pretty good price point for them.
Yeah, people always misinterpret like what the true cost or the final cost because of upgrades. Mm-hmm. They go in and you know, builders trying to make money too, especially with all the costs of the stuff, you know,
Yeah.
all the things that they have to pay, you know, the lumber and all the stuff that's up. So 300,000, it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know?
That's probably a nice new home for them.
Exactly.
It's, yeah.
Starter home for their family, small
Yeah.
family. It still has 3 bedrooms, 2 bath,
Yeah.
2-car
Yeah.
garage. You know, smaller yards. A lot of them do 0 lot line yards, so they can
Right.
maximize the profits on the subdivision. But it's a good starter home for these people, and especially they can have their place in Las Vegas if they're relocating, and now they work on the Strip, so they can easily transform to the
Okay.
Strip.
So there is an opportunity.
Yeah.
See, I'm under the impression like you're out.
Yeah.
You know, there's no shot.
No.
Good luck. Have a good one. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there is an opportunity. I'll say this last thing. So you have somebody that works at the builder. Last week
Yeah.
we had. What is the starting price point for him? I forgot what he said, but what is the starting price point that?
I think he said 360.
Okay,
So that's not bad.
it's not bad. It's not the lowest,
Right.
but it's not bad. What have you been doing? You've been dealing with clients that are asking for price points that, you know, 275, 300, 350. Like,
yeah,
where
actually,
are you?
the one I just went under contract with was in that low 300s.
There you go.
Yeah, so it is possible for them, you know. And the thing I like about this was in Inspirata, so they're doing a lot of,
Wow.
you know, outdoor trails within the community, pools.
Yeah.
So they're making it more, you know, you can have less of a yard, but you have 3 different dog parks or 3 pools that you can walk to.
I see.
That's within the community, so it's more, you know, you can have less yard but more to do.
Well, I think there's options, and I think you know, wrapping this show up, you know, I think there's a lot of doom and gloom, or a lot of maybe, you know, there is. I mean,
Doom and
is
gloom.
Vegas right? Vegas is just overvalued. It's overpriced, and we get it. But from what you guys are telling me, it sounds like there's opportunity. That doesn't mean everybody's going to get that opportunity. So let's be realistic. But if you're somebody out there, you know, maybe there is an opportunity, condo, places like that. But I'm just, like I said, I'm scared because where's that price point going to be if we don't stop in 6 months? 350, 400. You know what I mean? So you guys have any final thoughts?
Going back to that point on the Beezer homes, I will say that
Yep.
the properties that were priced at 289
Yeah.
have a huge waiting list.
Yeah.
So they were completely sold out. All the lots were sold out, and you have to put your name on a waiting list. So as far as, you know, affordability, that is there, but the demand is so high
Yeah.
that the builders just can't keep up with
The
building
demand.
them. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
demand.
All right, guys. So that's it. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't subscribed, we're going to keep putting out that content. We're going to have you guys back. Loved having you guys here today. If you guys haven't looked at my past shows, please do that. You've been on quite a few past
Yes.
shows. So have you, David. You're starting to become a regular too here, Sandy. So appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll see you at the next stream. You guys have a good night. Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench Podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio-only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.